Welcome back in the Spaceman 2.0 Phoenix Tooth Rising Show, part 3 of the overview of the Committee of 300, and just looking at this chart, the Fellowship of Faiths. Okay, what was Prince Charles and now King Charles? He came and he says he is defender of the faiths instead of faith. So what faiths is he talking about? Does he want to be the ruler of all the world's religions, helping bring and institute that one world government, one world religion idea? So this is an overview. Union of East and West, the League of Neighbors. Political side is the League of Nations, Union, the World Jewish Congress, Zionist organizations, Friends of Soviet Russia, International League Against Imperialism, the League of Industrial Democracy, the Fabian Socialist Industry, Young Communist League, International Students Committee of League of Nations, World Federation of Christian Students, International Confederation of Students, World Union of Jewish Students, International Student Service, Industrial Christian Fellowship. And then we have on the religious side, if that wasn't religious enough for you, through the leading personnel of the fellowship, religious side, Freemasonry, the Theosophical Society, the Spiritualist Society, the Society for Psychic Research, Interreligious Crusade, International Congress of Free Christians, Society for Promoting of the Study of Religions, Central Council of American Rabbis, Atheist Free Thinking, Ingersoll Society, pretty sure that's what it says, Federal Council of Churches of Christ, USA, Young Man Christian Institution, English Church Union, Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, Modern Churchmen Union, World Alliance for International Friendship, through the churches, Methodist Organization, Congressional Union, Group Movement, Buchmanism, Catholic Crusade, Communist, and National R Catholic Council USA. So back to the overview of lists. Now this might have to do with some of my wonderful crypto watchers out there. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. What did Brad Garlinghouse have to say about that? He says, with supply and demand, you don't have to go to MIT to figure that out on how the price will go up depending on supply and demand. And look what comes after: the Alfred P. Sloan School of Management, a huge school for economics. So with that being said, the Tavistock and the MIT Alfred Sloan can be roughly divided into the following groups. And here's a list. I'll just go over some of them. Contains the American Red Cross, NASA, U.S. Navy, Forrester and Meadows wrote the Club of Rome's Limits of Growth, Zero Growth Study. And look, the U.S. Treasury, the Volkswagen Company, Institute for Defense Analysis, IDA. That's a huge one. IDA controls a lot. The IDA is so powerful that it actually controls our weather. And if you look down here, and radio waves can actually create symptoms of like being sick and stuff like that, and they warn us against that. But look, ELF radio waves can to change weather and to abnormal weather patterns, and NASA became very concerned that weather modification experiments would have a detrimental effect on the national security of the United States when used against it by Russia, and what these effects would be. One of IDA's most secret efforts concerned the economics future of China, and it's believed the basis upon NFT Rockefeller journey to China to cement relationships with the Lee family that virtually rules China. So basically, Rockefellers ruled China since back then as well, but they also, one of the most extraordinary tasks undertaken by the IDA was the effect of weather modification using ELF. Okay, NASA or HARP and basically HARP is a bunch of antenna towers using chemtrails as well to control our weather and to impregnate the air with nanoparticulate of barium, aluminum oxides, and other types of experimental research they do on us. Now, never forget the RAND Research and Development Corporation. Okay, they were part of the peyote and the LSD, a cover-up in the MK Ultra operations, which lasted over 20 years. They did that to the veterans in the Vietnam War. They gave it to them while they're actually there. Okay, the RIA's most prestigious vehicle for control of the United States policies at every level. Okay, specific RAND policies. Okay, some of RAND's clients include the following: American Telephone and Telegraph Company, AT&T, Chase Manhattan Bank, National Science Foundation, Republican Party, TRW, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Department of Energy, U.S. Department of Health, International Business Machine, IBM. So RAND controls it all. Okay, there are literally thousands that make use of RAND services, thousands of organizations, institutions. But to summarize the major Tavistock institutions in the United States, engage in brainwashing at all levels, including government, the military, business, religious organizations, and education, are the following: Brookings Institution, remember that, Hudson's Institute, Institute for Policy Studies, Massachusetts Institute for Technology, National Training Laboratories, RAND Research and Development Corporation, Stanford Research Institute, and Wharton School of University of Pennsylvania. So before I run out of time, let's just go over some of these. Look at these: Americans for a Safe Israel, the African National Congress, Biblical Archaeology Review, Bilderbergers, British Petroleum, BP, Canadian Institute for Foreign Affairs, Christian Fundamentalism, Council on Foreign Relations, New York, Egyptian Exploration Society, Imperial Chemical Industries, International Institute for Strategic Studies, Knights of Malta, Order of Skull and Bones, Palestine Exploration Fund, Poor Knights of the Templars, Riverside Church, Royal Dutch Shell Company, Socialist International, South Africa Foundation, and Tavistock Institute of Human Relations. And continuing on, Temple Mount Foundation, the Atheist Club, the Fourth State of Consciousness Club, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Milner Group, the Nazi Princes, the Order of Magna Carta, I think Trump is connected with that, the Order of the Divine Disorder, the RIIA, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, the Round Table, the Trilateral Commission, Universal Freemasonry, Universal Zionism, Vickers Armament Company, Warren Commission, Watergate Commission or Committee, Wilton Park, and World Council of Churches. Again, the Fellowship of Faiths that King Charles wants to be known for uniting. So before we get into the 4 pages of banks, names, and the BCI, how they were caught with massive bank fraud, but we'll get into special foundations interest groups, the Arab Bureau, the Aristotelian Society, the Asian Research Institute. Look how they control Walter Russell's work. Bertrand Russell Peace Foundation. That's why they don't let out the true physics of the universe. British American Canadian Corporation. Brotherhood of Eternal Love. Cambridge Apostles. American Histadrut Campaign. I can't say these words. Canadian Pacific Limited. Caribbean Central American Action Group. Okay, and the list goes on. Kissinger Associates. Organization of American States. Overseas Chinese Affairs Committee. Okay, YMCA. Okay, get this book, Committee of 300, and get yourself into the know. Spaceman 2.0, and I'm out.